Okay, we're on part 8 and we're entering into second tier. This means we're done with the first tier was beige through green, and we're moving into second tier. This is second tier consciousness, and it's really exciting. It's like crossing over a bridge, and I'll explain why there's a bridge there in just a minute. First of all, fear that we talked about as one of the problems in the last tier. Fear is replaced by love as the key motivator. There's no controlling or manipulating with love. So we cannot even pretend that we are in second tier if we are still using the process of obligation, manipulation, shame, fear, guilt. If we are using those tools as motivators to get others to behave a certain way, we have not even come close to approaching second tier consciousness. Because in this place, there is no need to control or manipulate. We only deal with things with the energy of love. In the second tier, we realize that there is partial value in all the other tiers, radically inclusive, radically allowing, because now you're in this place of with having the ability to observe where a person is, realizing they have to go through all the levels, realizing that you have no power to push them through the levels of consciousness, and being able to allow them where they are and work within that dynamic makes you far more diplomatic, mature, and capable of making change and difference in the world. At the second tier, we want to work with love. We exhibit love in our communications and in all of the solutions to both our personal problems and our global issues. So a lot of us, each person has their own percentage of consciousness. So what I'm feeling with me is I still have the residual of the blue. I had a lot of purple in me doing a lot of energy work, and healing arts still has a lot of purple, and a lot of it I love. Working with the subtle energies and with nature and with the oils and all of those things. I definitely want to bring that in with me. But I also had some things, I'm thinking that everything was connected to a spirit, and casting out spirits and creating whole spirit world was about driving me up the wall. I thought I was going insane. But as I witnessed how much blue I still had in me, there's still this little ghost of fear of displeasing God and not doing things right. And I wonder if I have God's approval and I have to follow the church. But ever since I had my faith crisis and severed that, a lot of that blue is kind of dissolved. In the orange, I had been working the orange as far as my own career for about 13 years. So I'm very much in the orange and in the green place. But even in being there, I can see the second tier. I'm witnessing part of me in that second tier. So there is a certain percentage of me that's already evolving there. And that's the beauty of it. We're spiraling in this non-linear way and moving forward. And so there's percentages of us that are still lingering in the lower consciousness, and we're growing and evolving. So more about the second tier. Our perspective is massively wider and deeper. That means we see globally, exponentially. We are able to see everything in perspective in an interdependent web of time and space and spirituality. And I tell you what, when you're in that place, some people call it more of a fifth dimension, your fifth dimensional thinking, where your time and space kind of shifts and you're not so fearful. And you realize there's something cosmic going on. You understand more about the holographic universe and your imprints and how your thoughts and emotions, your energies and your frequencies are playing into the dynamics and the rules and laws of the earth. And in this place, you start to realize how multidimensional you are, is what I'm trying to explain. Your own thinking becomes expansive. It's not so linear. You're not so obsessed with the physical world. You're more interested, vitally interested in the subtle energies of magnets, of what is the word I'm looking for? Frequencies, light waves, sound waves, energy. All of that has to do with the second tier multidimensional thinking, and it helps us understand that we live in a universe that's far more complex than we ever imagined. And in that place of not needing certainty anymore, of just being witnesses and observers, and in place of curiosity. They see the need for all the levels, and they're not threatened by the levels. They don't need anybody to be anywhere else than where they are. And this is done. The single most important thing for me in moving forward in faith crisis is just being so fed up with how people were being treated in church, and being so unconscious of that. And once I've seen a little bit of the second tier consciousness, I see how important it is for them, if they still need that learning and that growing. It's important, and how dare I infringe on that? And I don't need to change it, and I just get to be me, and I don't need their approval, but I don't need to correct them either, unless I feel called to change something. So the second tier people are aware that they're still in the process of moving up. See what the greens, which is the highest level of the first tier, the greens thought they had arrived. We are the most conscious on the planet. Second tier, at this level, they're aware there's more. They're not under this assumption that they've arrived at all. They're in a place of curiosity and wonder. And it's really a place of true humility. It's not a false humility. It's not a false pious humility. It's I really don't know. Anything's a possibility. I'm going to sit here and watch. And they're not under the impression that they're at the highest level. There's no need for divisiveness. There's no need for them to exclude any type of people. They're not threatened by a gender. They're not threatened by a person's sexual orientation. They're not threatened by, they're more observers rather than needing everybody to do things their way. There's no need for annihilation. So there's not like genocide, and there's not need to destroy other groups and other people. There's no need for domination. No need for manipulation. There's no need to control, no need for coercion, no need for exploitation, because they're starting to understand more of the balance of energies and realizing and working with it instead of against it. They are seeking sustainability, and sustainability is like a buzzword in our world today, and it's coming from these second tier people. That's their goal, is how can we sustain our planet and sustain our society so that we can all continue growing together. Wherever you are, how can we use where you're at to the benefit of the whole? Isn't that cool? That's like way better than feeling threatened and feeling, the competition and all of those feelings. They see the whole picture as one, and they see the need for everybody. And what everyone else can contribute. They know that they're not a one-man show, and they realize that they're a part of the whole. And that is a greater level of consciousness. And the first level of the second tier is yellow, and I'll go over that next.